Hey guys, this is Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky. And this is a segment I like to call Rants and Ravings, where I go off on something that's a little bit irritating to me in the grappling community. And today's topic is MMA is not a real fight. A lot of people are going to say, yeah, they're punching each other, they're kicking each other. Obviously, it's a real fight. It's the ultimate experience. It's the ultimate in real fighting. That's the marketing hype. That's everything about it says no rules, no hold. I remember back when it was called no holds barred and all this other stuff. MMA is a sport, okay? MMA is a sport. It's just as much a sport as jiu-jitsu. It's just as much a sport as boxing. It is not a real damn fight. Think about this. You are in a cage and you know that you're going to fight one person. You have a referee who's going to step in to prevent injuries. There are rules. There are certain things that you can do and that you cannot do. If the action stalls out, the referee will restart you. You have a mouthpiece in. You don't have any clothes to grab. You don't have boots. You don't have a belt on. You don't have, and you're wearing gloves for the protection of both people. That is not a real fight. A real fight is when you are out somewhere and someone is trying to do serious harm to you. Okay? Number one, there could be more than one of them. About 52% of attacks involve more than one person. So you never know when it's going to happen, okay, at what intensity, whether you're going to get any warning at all. The first time you get a warning might be somebody punches you in the back of the head and then his friends start stomping your face. You have no guarantee that they're going to stop if you ask them to. They may kill you. This may be a murder, okay? There's multiple opponents. Any time they could pull out a weapon. If you carry a weapon, they could try to take yours. If your shirt comes up and your concealed carry gun shows, they could try to take it out of the holster. They could take things off. They could pick up a chair. Multiple people could be involved. Somebody could come to your aid and it could turn into a brawl. Okay? There's all these X factors that could be involved. That is a real fight. Okay? The consequences of a MMA loss are, your career is going to go down. If it's a amateur, it's like you're going to be depressed a little bit. But basically, you're still friends. You're not still friends with these guys if they're trying to kill you. Okay? Real fights involve things like serious injury or death, lawsuits, weapons, all these other things that you have to make. And then innocent bystanders, for instance. You got to protect your loved ones in this situation. So MMA is very good training for a fight. I'm not going to say that it's not good training because it's about as close as you can get. I mean, you are punching each other and kicking each other and each other. But if you think that you are that you're going to be ready for anything because you train MMA, you're sorely mistaken. If you get 2 people on you, you're fucked. Okay, if you get 3 people on you, it's worse and worse and worse. Okay, so there's a lot of MMA fighters that get cleaned in street fights. Okay, top level guys. So you have to be careful. You have to understand that even though it's as real as it gets, or whatever the catchphrases are going to be, it's not. It's a sport. Okay, and it should be treated like a sport. And people get in there and they hype it up, and there's this lack of sportsmanship in general. But ultimately, what it is a sport. It's no more or less of a sport than jiu-jitsu. It's no more or less of a sport than basketball. It's no more or less of a sport than football. Okay, people get hurt in all of these sports, and wrestling, any kind of combat sport is going to help prepare you for a street fight. Okay, if that happens. Self-defense, basically, is what I'm saying. But it's not going to be the end-all, be-all of training for that kind of situation. You have to include that. You have to include that. If you're a coach, you have to put that in. You have to emphasize that the person may pull out a weapon. You have to train that stuff because it's not going to come naturally to you. Okay? You need to get into a class like Performance Edge's full contact gunfighting, or ECQC from ShivWorks. You need to get into one of these classes where people are trying to actually shoot you with a sim gun or pull out a blue gun or a training knife. It is a completely different experience. If you have someone mounted and you think you're doing good and you look over and they've been stabbing you for the last, I don't know, 2 minutes or so, okay, you'd be dead. Okay, you probably would bleed out. Now, it's a very eye-opening experience, and I want to tell everybody out there that just because you're a good MMA fighter and just because you could square off with somebody in a what I call a pride fight where you could walk away does not mean you're going to survive predatory violence. Okay, so get some training in this stuff and consider carrying a weapon and knowing how to use it. This has been Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky. Comment section are open. Share this with all your friends. If you disagree with me, then, well, let me know what you think. All right? Train hard, train smart, and train often. I'll see you next time.